This month, we look back at our good friend Cheryl McHenry's remarkable 40-plus career here at Channel 7. Cheryl is retiring this month, and we talked with her recently about journalism. She reported on more stories than even she can remember.
When it came to storytelling,
hello, I'm James Brown.
I'm Cheryl McHenry. Tonight,
Cheryl grasped that early on in her career. Her ability to string pieces of sound, pictures, and words together mirrored artwork.
Her writing skills are excellent. I mean, she's a great communicator.
From crime scenes to courtroom trials,
Cheryl's definitely one of the best I've ever had the opportunity to work with.
WHIO had one of the best journalists of our generation. Cheryl and Jim Baldridge anchored together 18 years.
One of the best things that ever happened to WHIO TV was getting Cheryl.
but I remember the big stories, the big Miamisburg train derailment in 1986, where 30,000 people had to evacuate their homes.
And one of the first things I remember is Cheryl standing along the tracks in Miamisburg with those huge plumes of smoke behind her, just right in the middle of her report, no problem.
And then there was this video nobody will forget from 2015. She was more than 7,000 miles away from Dayton, wearing a military helmet and bullet-resistant vest.
I went with the 445th Airlift Wing from Wright Pat all the way to Afghanistan.
She shared with viewers the job the 445th played in the war on foreign terrorism. While it was not on the news, the Dayton Children's Telethon was always special. Cheryl emceed the telethon almost 30 years and helped raise millions of dollars to help with kids' medical care.
Yeah, I thought it would be really cool to do play-by-play or even the color for the Reds on radio, but then Marty and Joe kind of had that locked up.
Live TV allowed viewers to see the personal, caring, compassionate person they needed during times of crisis. One of the biggest of Cheryl's career, May 27, 2019.
I will never forget how Cheryl was my rock through that whole experience.
Cheryl and Chief Meteorologist McCall Brydags saved lives when 19 tornadoes wiped out parts of our community that night. And then just a few months later, in the middle of the night, Cheryl got the call about the Oregon District shooting. Channel 7 and our community leaned on Cheryl to get us through.
Cheryl is an icon.
Dayton Police Homicide Detective Doyle Burke and Cheryl go way back. Both were rookies at the jobs when they met. Over the last decade, Cheryl put renewed focus on helping get answers from murder victims' families in cases where police never arrested the killers.
She asked the right questions when she was told we couldn't give the answer or whatever it was. She accepted that.
In late 2024, Cheryl produced and wrote a half-hour special on Cheryl Coker's murder. The Riverside woman disappeared in 2018. 6 months later, people found her body in a wooded area in Greene County. Police think someone murdered Cheryl. Their only suspect, Cheryl's husband, but they never arrested him. But along with the difficult, hard news stories, Cheryl was never one to outkick her coverage. After being a lifelong Bengals fan,
I got to go to the Super Bowl when the Bengals were in it 3 years ago, and that was thrilling. It was a lot of work and long days.
The reality is, they do not make them like Cheryl anymore. What an extraordinary journey.
And, you know, I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Cheryl leads by example.
She does.
You know, and those big stories, which we have been a part of many of them, she was always the first one to respond in the newsroom, beating most people, and that's amazing.
You know, and on the lighter side of things, you know, Cheryl has such an incredible sense of humor.
Yes.
You know, I can remember she and I standing back here when the Bengals were about to go to the Super Bowl, and I asked her to do the Yicky Shuffle.
Yeah.
Live on TV, and lo and behold, Miss Cheryl did. So you just never know what you're going to get from her, but you always knew it was professional.
And that, I think, is on the internet still, because it became very popular.
You know, folks, there's so much more to talk about when it comes to Cheryl, and we want you to join us and take a look at all of her big achievements right here on Channel 7 and the big names in journalism who inspired her. Please join us for an hour-long special May 15th at 7 p.m. And leading up to the special, we will keep honoring phenomenal career Cheryl has had right here on News Center 7 at 5.